It's my time and it's my time, my time, my time and it's we get raw. It's my time to spit, my time, my time, my time to spit, we get raw.
We could have done better, we could have done more, but it's 3 points and that's all that matters, and we move on to the top four. Cheers.
But boy, I got no nails left. I've eaten all my nails. Last 10 minutes, fucking hell, that was something else, wasn't it, guys? But whoa, 3 points, on we go. Come on, red men!
Never change, Cam, my friend. Never change, and never take off that short of yours, which brings us victories. Hello, hello, episode 8 of YaRAW show on Anfield Index TV. Guys, ever since I started doing this, I mean, I know it's sort of experimental, we're trying to find a new format, trying to see how this whole thing works, but nonetheless, ever since I started doing YaRAW show, we have not lost a game. We won most of them. So, I'm happy to actually be on air, on the airwaves again, talking about a win. And what a win that was. Not a vintage performance, obviously. And not that we actually needed a vintage performance going to the Hawthorns against a very, very strong side, against the Pulis side. Okay, Tony Pulis side is a thing of its own. We got the 3 points, and let's now bring in the reactions from all of you guys. And I'm really happy that a lot of you are actually holding this conversation with me for the show. Now, halftime reactions. Daniel Bilverstone. Being very conservative, I think that's the correct way to play. Chase the game, and West Brom would counter us. Point before a game would be a decent result, so we need to just keep moving the ball and keep the game tight. Clean sheet and 3 points are ours. YNWA, come on, Redmen. Awesome analysis at halftime. I agree with every point, and good thing that 45 minutes later we were all bouncing, even though there was a nail-biting encounter at the very end of it. God. And one of the reactions we'll get to will actually be very on point. Right, Brian McCormack, it's never going to be game of the season, it's just about the 3 points today. Absolutely correct statement. Expecting a vintage blistering performance away at Hawthorns was quite stupid. Maybe over expecting it, but nonetheless 3 points is 3 points. Don't think Origi, according to Chetan, has lost the ball yet. He was brilliant last game too. Agree, Origi was pretty good in all those games where he was called upon instead of Sadio Mane. I think he's done a great job, again solidifying the thought that, I mean, I think it's been 3 shows already where I spoke about this, that Origi should be kept at the club for the next season as a very decent backup and a very good option. Mia, keeping a good shape, definitely a flat half. Great flick on from Lucas, who had a decent first half. Grind this out for 3 points. Yes, they did. Yes, Lucas had a very good performance. And that assist, my word, was such a good thing. I mean, that flick towards Bobby. Lucas, I know, man, you had a lot of criticism. Most of your criticism was deserved. But nonetheless, ever since Lucas had started being used as a proper centre-back, and was redeployed into his more conventional midfielder role, I think he's had several very decent performances. And I mean, if it's his last month at LFC, we'll all remember you, Lucas, for being such a great guy in this last month. Now, Adam, West Brom should concentrate on the defensive aspects of set piece taking. Oh, us scoring a set-piece goal against West Brom. How fucking mad is that in the first place, first and foremost? I mean, we have been conceding from set pieces all the time. This time, they were very close from set pieces a couple of times, but never scored a goal against us. And instead, we actually scored a set piece against the team which had been defending set pieces better than anyone else in the league. How mad is that? That shows probably that our tide probably has turned for Liverpool this season in so many respects. Now, the road to Merseyside during halftime. I think our build-up is way too slow. I think generally the tempo of the game in the first half was relatively slow, but then again, expecting a high tempo against the Pulis side away probably would have been a mad idea. And finally, for the halftime reaction, extremely tough against a well-organized drill team. According to Iqbal Hussein, we need to pick up the tempo second half, score a second goal, don't give away free kicks too. I disagree that we needed to pick up the tempo. I think this game did not really need a tempo, but I do agree with you, Iqbal, and finally I agree with something that you tweeted to me, that We needed to score the second goal, although let's get to this a little later on because we'll get to the chances side of the conversation. Now, after full time, Paul, Colology, if I'd get a time machine, the first time I'd do is go back in time and slap myself the day I thought I should support this football club. Man, the first thought when the full time whistle came was Liverpool would probably be the death of me. I think I've turned grey after the after 75th or 80th minute. I mean, that last assault that the West Brom team had on our goal, like in the last 5 minutes, with Foster coming on and Albi Moreno nearly pulling off that crazy thing. I thought I would like collapse in a nervous breakdown. This was like very nerve-wracking to watch. So the full-time whistle was probably the biggest sigh of relief that we've had this season, to be completely honest with you. I mean, and let's not even forget, there was a lot of rage directed at Moreno for him missing that golden chance on open goal. A lot of rage. I mean, a lot of rage. And at this point, I will bring in the reaction from Cam about Moreno.
Albi, I fucking called it. I said you were going to race down that fucking wing and you were going to smash one in. And what did you do? You fucking missed it. How the fucking fuck did you miss?
Yes. I mean, what the fuck was he doing? Honestly, it actually made me laugh to a certain point that he missed this chance. But guys, let's not be this harsh on Moreno. I mean, the guy has had a rough time this season in Liverpool, losing even the potential to start against Stoke when his rival for the left back berth, Milner, was even pushed into the middle, and even then Moreno was not given a start. But nonetheless, we won that game. I mean, had a terrible scenario happened if Moreno did not score that open goal, and let's say in the next attack West Brom scored against us, that would have been fucking nightmare and end of the world, and the fume would have probably just been equivalent of a nuclear bomb or something. I don't know, it would have been like very bad. But we won. 3 points, 1-0, doesn't matter. Move on. Stop getting on Moreno, like, just go easy. Right, next reaction. Jack, the real Jack Reed. I've aged. Very, very proper statement. I think I've lost a monthly amount of nerve cells in the last 10 minutes against West Brom. Fucking hell. I also felt like I've aged. Alex Hamilton, another brilliant comment. Brilliant from Chan and Bobby, but still need to bury these teams when we have the chance. Poor from JM, NC, GW, Do, and PC today. Bobby, man of the match. I like the abbreviations. I mean, everybody knows who Alex is talking about. But I disagree that, for instance, Gini Wijnaldum was poor. I think he was very, very solid. Joel Matip didn't really get a foot wrong again, was very solid. So Phil Coutinho also, maybe not the world-class performance, but it was still a very high level, high intensity performance from him. And, agree and disagree. Bobby, man of the match, that is something I can agree with. And again, the good point is that we should bury teams like this when we have the chance. That's a very, very good point. I think if we actually scored a second goal in the second half, the game would have been much, much easier and much less nervy at the end of it, especially. And we've had, obviously the best chance came from Milner. It's really hard to be, very critical of him for missing that because, guys, if you ever played football, actual football, you would know that a one-shot strike from a position like this when the ball is very high is very difficult to make. And let's not forget, this is James Milner. This is not Cristiano Ronaldo or a very highly skilled or world-class talent player. This is James Milner, a workhorse, but he lacks this kind of quality. And had he scored there, that it would have been something of a goal for the season contender. But he did not. But I was talking more about other chances and half chances that we've had during the second half. I think we had a solid chance of putting this game to bed. We did not, which again raises the point about us being not clinical enough. But again, in this respect, we escaped. 3 points in the back. That's all that matters. E.T. full-time. Great 3 points. Genius quality. I have been saying Genie going forward and John staying back. Moreno is not doing himself a favor. Yeah, he's not doing himself a favor. A lot of fans are, again, angry at him. And it's almost like, you want to find a fucking point to be fuming about after the game. And you're also giving me bullets to be fuming at those who are fuming about Moreno. Guys, we won. Fuck it. Move on. Let's stop being harsh on Moreno. He's a nice guy after all. Even though it's really hard to forgive him for the Europa League final second half. James White, Miggs was huge again. Some say keeper speak at 30 could be seeing a truly improved Mignolet and not just a bounce. Okay, we had actually a podcast, face-off podcast, shortly before doing the show with Kay and Leanne, and we sparred vocally with Leanne about Mignolet. You know me, I'm not the guy to defend him, and I still think that we need a better keeper. But, however, for 3 or 4 games running, Mignolet has been absolutely fucking insanely amazing. I can't even find superlatives to describe his performance properly in the last 3 or 4 games. 2 absolutely world-class saves against Stoke, which proved to be crucial for us getting all 3 points. And that save against West Brom when they had a one-on-one attack with his left foot being caught, on a counter movement in the frame. Everybody who ever played between the sticks knows how hard it is to save something like that. And moreover, not only he saved it with his foot, it could have just bounced over it and went straight, and it could have gone straight into the goal, but it went the other way around. So that save was sublime. And Miggs, I mean, you're probably never going to watch this, but dude, keep this up. And if you play like this, and if you have a solid defense in front of you next season, I'm ready to flip on my own position and say that you can stay and play for us and don the red shirt or the orange shirt or whatever the shirt color is for next season, because some of the performances have been very, very fucking breathtaking and world class. And think about it. I think Mignolet, ever since our spectacular collapse of the season in January, I think he has been one of the most consistent players on the field. You can't really blame him for a lot of goals. He didn't really fuck up the way he did last season. Well, last season, statisticians would prove me right or wrong. I think he had 7 or 6 mistakes which led directly to the goal. I don't think there have been like a lot of mistakes like that this season, probably even none. And you can't really blame him for most of the goals that we conceded. Probably like all of the goals, you cannot even blame him. So honestly, Miggs is turning heads around with his performances like that, and credit when due, and nobody would say bad things when you're playing good. So I hope that it's kind of a pattern that we'll see from Simon, the Belgian guy. Lee Boy, after full time, we have character and bottle after all the talk for years. Our bastardry and game management improving rapidly, winning mentality growing. Game management definitely improving, and bastardry, my word, Emre Can again being the filthy, nasty piece of shit bastard on the pitch, the one that we've been screaming for years, ever since Javier Mascherano left the ranks of Liverpool. Glad to see that this has been the pattern for the last 5-6 games. Ever since that pretty dire performance he had against Burnley, he came up. By the way, that performance where he also scored the winning goal, but nonetheless, it was a bad one, and now he's just blistering. We should renew his contract. Please do this ASAP. There are not too many 23-year-old Germans around who can play like this, and bastardry is back. And Bobby Firmino, guys, this is something that cameras not always catch, but the way he's being a bastard to other players, manhandling a defender before scoring his goal, doing it a borderline faulty situation where he could be awarded a foul, but still he's not, and that was absolutely beautiful. But not everybody agrees that Can was so good. Jason, after full time, Can scares me, about 10 seconds late for most tackles. And when he loses the ball, he goes after the man. Red card in waiting, needs to think quick. While I would agree with part of the point that he may need to react faster and quicker to all the things happening, I still think that Can was absolutely immense in the West Brom, in the Stoke game, and even more so probably at the Burnley game where he was very close to being man of the match. So, dude, 1 point is good. The rest I cannot agree with. And finally, the post-game reaction from Romeo LFC or Jizz. 5 games left, win them all, and it'll finish on 81 points. That is the kind of reaction which has to be there. I'm fucking loving this kind of reaction. And the more we see positivity like this, the better. Some more reactions from fans in DC and all over on the game.
Great grinder by the Reds. 3 points. That's all we needed. I thought Origi was fantastic. Held up the ball really well. It was good seeing Sturridge out, but overall, a great result. Really needed it.
I mean, I'm glad the way we fought, the lads fought, maintained their composure. Moments of brilliance, but it takes more than a single moment. It takes many moments, and we had the intestinal fortitude to persevere. So up the Reds.
Who's your man of the match?
Who's the man of the match?
Tough one, right?
It's a difficult one. Moreno.
Emre Can, you fucking boss. You were fucking amazing out there today. Bobby Firmino, second half. Oh my days, you were magical. Some of the things you were doing on that pitch beggared belief.
Great game. Moreno needs to finish that off for us. Man, match for me has got to be Lucas with the assist, anchoring down the center, filling in for Henderson all day.
Right, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for tweeting at me, sending me the videos. We welcome the guy we know as Mia onto the show as well. Thank you for sending me a video. This is my email address, guys. If you remember, you're sending the email, the videos here. I really appreciate it. Next up is Palace. I did a preview Q&A for the Palace website, which will be available on Twitter shortly. Hoping it's going to be a good one, particularly because Sacco is not playing against us. Well, that could be a very important factor. So I'll be back next week to talk about all this. Hopefully another reason to bounce, another reason to be happy. And for now, you know what's coming. I drop the mic.
You don't know the pain